So where are we going, Dave?
We just had a call that the Vervet Monkey has lost his mother, so we're not too sure really what's happened. They've just contacted us and we're racing through there now. When we hear of a little orphan that needs attention or needs rescuing, we try and get into action as quickly as possible and try and get him out of the people's hands into somebody's hands that we know, so that it doesn't end up in the pet trade, and that it's easier for us to collect or get to a collection point to make sure the little one gets through to us as soon as possible, as safely as possible. You don't know what happened to him or anything, you just transported.
When I picked him up from the guys that had him, they said we found him at the crypt. So I don't know.
Oh, shame, man. Anyway, thanks so much for bringing him down.
No problem.
We're just going to give him a little bit of milk and stuff here before we go.
Like I said, it's difficult, but he seems, even if you feel him, he's skin and bones.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, let's try to get something into you. Can we get something into you? I think so. All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck with the fishing. Lucky this little one wasn't too dehydrated, but we start them off first on a bit of rehydration, just to get them started before we switch them over to the milk, which will naturally taste different to the milk they had before, and hopefully they will like it. Well, this one is definitely not happy, certainly missing his mom, and we need to get him back to the foundation. Well, we're going to see if this little one's going to like our milk. It seems that he doesn't really mind the taste so much, but the big problem is getting used to drinking off a different type of teat. So normally when these guys get found, they get given a normal baby bottle with a human teat on it, and sometimes these aren't really too good for them, although many years ago it's just what we had to work with because we didn't get the smaller ones. But there is a greater chance that they can get milk into their lungs because of the faster flow. So the smaller pet bottles, especially the Royal Canin ones, are a lot nicer if you have a monkey that's battling to drink. They've got a more of a flow control. But let's see how this little one goes. The important thing is to make sure he's had something before we leave on our trip, and we'll stop a little bit further along the way to see if we can give him something more to drink.
So we've got this little guy now. He's quite restless, but he is starting to drink a little bit now. He's probably had just maybe just over 10 mils now, so very good. He's getting there. Hey boy. Yeah. Drinking as he cries.
So Dave and Sky have just been to pick up another baby. We actually thought we were getting two, but we have just the one. There you can see the little baby on top of the carrier. It's a dinky one. Oh. So very traumatized. He's had a lot happen to him. So we're just going to take him into our Loveland quarantine, as all the other babies are currently in Neverland. Our normal quarantine, we're going to take them into Loveland, which is our secondary cabin for quarantining. Gael is one of our baby interns, so she's going to do the check. Hello, little one. So we've just received this little one from Dave just now. Been told he's come from Joburg, and he's just made his way here to us today. So we're just going to give him a quick check over.
Thank you.
So first of all, we're going to look at his teeth. We'll see if we can see how old he is. Oh, we've got some teeth. So he's got two bottom ones and a big one at the top. So we're looking at over 9 days old, maybe 10 or 11, up to 2 weeks, anywhere between there. We're just going to do a quick check of all the limbs, anything broken, anything visibly injured. There you can see he's a little boy. Okay. It's alright, he has got a couple of cuts on his face. Hello, darling. We're very sad eyes going on. Aren't you, darling?
Yeah, hold.
If you're in Germany, here's the place to go. V-Band. It's an amazing restaurant for vegans with unbelievable dishes, and they support the foundation.
We've got intern Ross from UK who's just monitoring Coco Troop. As part of the internships for sections, then the interns will go along and monitor the troops, and they'll also get to know the faces individually so that they can pick out any individual injuries. They can also then deworm the troops, so if people learn quick enough then they can have a greater responsibility. So we're just going along checking the health of the monkeys, making sure they're all eating okay. Okay, Ross, what do you notice about this monkey coming up?
It's got a very deep V'd brow, kind of a heart-shaped face.
Okay. Anything else distinguishing with this female?
Quite light gloves and socks. They're not ridiculously black. Anything dark around the eyes, very dark face.
Can you notice anything about her coat?
She has some bald patches on her coat, coming down to the second half of her body.
And any wounds at all?
She has wounds on the back. Can't see on her tail. Excuse me. My bucket. Potentially one on her back.
Okay, anything else?
Okay, so from here I can see the scars on her arms. So this looks like Luca to me.
Yep, well done. That is Luca. She's one of our good foster mums that we use in Coco.
I want to say Jolie. It's not Jolie. It's not enough around the eyes. Oh no, you're going to run away from me.
So that one was Dobby. What about the one coming up?
That looks like Jolie.
Yes, that's Jolie. Yep.
It's more patchy around the eyes with the pink. So that's definitely
patchy
Jolie.
pink silhouettes.
Yep.
And then what about the one coming up to us?
This here would be moustache. This is Casanova.
Casanova, yes. So she's by her moustache, and she's got the scar above her eyebrow as well. And then the one walking past now. Do you see who that is?
Oh, lots of scars on the top of her coat. And the dot on top of her, on her nose. So I think that's Moki.
Yep, that's Moki. Well done.
Is that Carla?
It is Carla. Yes.
Yeah.
We haven't really gone through her yet, the one on the right, but this is Paloma.
Okay.
And her muzzle's quite big around her nose area. She's more kind of oval in shape as well. Doesn't have too much distinguishing features about her. So you kind of get to know her face.
Yeah. Quite light around the...
Then we got the one in the back. Do you know who that is?
Boy, it's gonna be... Is that Oswald?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's Oswald. So he's growing up fast.
That is Sadie?
Yes. So Sadie's doing very well as well. He's often more in the background than Oswald. Oswald's more in the front. So Sadie is quite often eyebrowing, like you see. Stays away from people, which is good because that's what we want for rehabilitation.
Luca? Is that Luca?
No.
It's not Luca.
So this female, we don't let in with the babies in intra-cages because she gets too nervous being closed in, but she's very good with the babies outside.
Is that Toby?
It is Toby, yeah. So Toby, unfortunate name because it makes us think it's a male, but it isn't, it's a female. She's got a long coat there as well. This is Biscuit. He's quite golden male. And then we got Mystery in the back. And there's Mystery.
That's Mystery.
And there's Rosa on the left. Here's Elise, one of the previous season's orphans. You may remember she had a head wound at some point. You can see everything's all good now. So Ross, you've been doing monitoring with us on Coco and you're the middle section intern. Where are you from and what made you want to come out with an internship here?
I'm from England, and I decided to come out here because I want some practical experience working with primates in the field of conservation, and I thought there'd be no better place than here.
Okay, and how long are you here for?
I'm here for 6 months.
And how well do you think you did with the Coco profile training today?
I think I'm improving a lot. I think I did pretty well. There's quite a few that I can definitely just know by looking at, but definitely more training, and hopefully I'll know the whole troop before long, yeah.
So which are the ones you can identify quickest, would you say, like that sticks out for you?
I'd say Hercules is very easy to see, Cappy as well, Peggy because she's got a mark on her at the moment, Casanova. There's quite a few of them that have very distinct tells on their bodies for sure. Yeah.
Well great, you did a great job today because it's only like your second time monitoring with us, and I think you already know at least 50% of the troops, so that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
There's probably nobody that enjoys the rain as much as these monkeys. One just can't believe how much fun they actually have in the puddles, running around and jumping. Sometimes it even gets to the point where they push each other into the water just for fun. But of course the rain brings a lot of other things for them, and maybe that's why it makes them enjoy it so much. There's a lot of insects, especially the flying ants, start coming out. So we find a lot of the monkeys sitting around here. You can see he's trying to catch a flying ant. So a lot of these ants start flying around, which is quite amazing for these little guys. And of course they get up to these antics. Sometimes you can just sit there for watching them for hours, just messing around, being well, we think they're being foolish, but it's actually not. This is one way of controlling the ant populations and things like this, which is quite amazing, as well as getting themselves clean and sorted out a little bit. So they do love puddles, they do love water. Also some of them, not all of them. For some reason you get some that just detest water and don't go near it. Others just love it to the extent that they always want to swim. And it is one of the reasons we actually put these very big, large water bowls in each one of our natural enclosures, so that they do have water that they can jump into and swim if they like, which is very, very important. Very, very important. And you always get that one up to some antics, probably creeping up on the side of the cameraman with nobody knowing, and just playing the fool. But yeah, these guys really, they make your day sometimes. You can be as down as anything and just have a look at what they're getting up to and how they're playing, and the mischief they cause to each other is quite remarkable. So the rain was really truly welcome. Not only for us, it's going to turn this place into a whole green paradise, which is going to be remarkable. So we've all been looking forward to it, especially these monkeys. Sometimes it's just nice to find a quiet spot on the foundation where you see some monkey activity and just sit there quietly and observe their behavior, and just see what they're actually getting up to. So it's nice being in this kind of environment. It gives you opportunity to see how these animals actually relax and enjoy themselves on their own, and the little bonds and friends and things that they've actually got. It's just like a whole bunch of little children going out and playing, and sometimes being naughty, jumping in the puddles, splashing each other. They even go as far as pushing each other into the puddles. And yeah, it's quite amazing just to be able to live in this kind of environment and have the opportunity to share some of these special moments of these amazing primates and their lives. It's really is great. Little Fudge, of course, is our latest arrival, and he's also just getting to learn the ropes at the moment. Again, just watch the coordination. This is also a very important part. You'll see the hands and things like shake like that as the brain's trying to tell it to pick up something, but he hasn't quite got the hang of it yet. So at a very young age, it's like, I suppose it's like a kind of a frustration. You want to do it, but you just don't know how to tell the limbs to work in the way you need to do it. But they catch up very quickly, and yeah, it's remarkable how fast they grow and get their coordination.
So here is number 5, the new boy we have received. He doesn't have a name yet. He has just joined this morning our other 4 babies. He has had a fecal sample taken and everything was fine. And yesterday he was given a bath to get rid of any parasites he may have. Hi! He's doing great. He's drinking very well. Yes.
Well, little Fudge is meeting Josephine and seeing how things go. They've got a little bit interest in this little marker pen. So naturally, playtime is very important for these little ones, and if you pay enough attention, you can see the little dominant streaks coming out of certain of them, or dominance behaviors coming from one or the other every now and again. It has the fact it wouldn't have actually been decided at the moment, but it's just their different behaviors. Who's the first leader to the gate? Who are they following around? Who are they pulling each other's ears? Who's on top of the other one? So these are all things slowly to pay attention to, because later on those are the ones that are going to become either more dominant or subservient in the troop. So even from this age, it's important for us to monitor and see what's actually going on.
Come on. Good girl.
Well, of course, we all know the feeding cage is one of the most important aspects of the whole process here, and it's very important that they get used to it. So playing on it and clambering around the cage makes them more accepting to what's going on, for them to find their food and everything and milk inside. So it's always good practice, and this starts right from the beginning, that we acclimatize them all to the feeding cage. So they're not scared of it. They're not scared of going into a confined area or through a small little hole, really to find out what's going on. So this is great. You can just see how much fun these little guys are all having. I'm not too sure if you lot can actually tell them apart yet. It is kind of tricky. I'm not going to try and distinguish them all now, but if you've been watching the video, it's a good idea to have a look at different markings, different things on their faces, maybe sag lines and this type of thing, or how the black is forming on their face. This all gives you different ideas of how to identify them. And then of course looking for the little males versus the little females. Just remember the females also have a little appendage, so at first it can be confusing, but once you notice the males, you certainly can tell the difference between them, and each one of them is going to develop slightly differently to the other, and there's always good things to try and look out for. Find out what yourself what's going to be identifying markings for you to identify them later on, especially once we get to the point of releasing these little guys with foster moms.
Ooh, there's Fudge and Shani. Fudge on the left and Shani playing.
If you watch Shani, you'll see a little bit of the mounting action, which is a dominance action, and it starts already from the small age. The urge for dominance or dominating your siblings comes out.
One of them's asleep on your arm. I think some of the milks are about to expire, so I will show you how to make a new bottle.
I've just found a thumb to suck on.
Hey.
Oh, it's actually a finger. Rough play, Shani.
Yeah, I know. They don't have hurters there.
Nice little Josephine practicing her clinging on her arms.
Probably try and feed Fudge again.
And baby intern Charlie feeding Abu.
Okay, boy. Fine.
Abu still drinks. How often does Abu drink, Charlie?
He only drinks a little bit, so around about 25 minutes, half an hour.
Okay. And then how much roughly does he drink at a time?
About 6 or 7 mils at the minute.
Okay.
He usually falls asleep pretty much.
He sleeps and he drinks.
That's Abu in a nutshell.
There you go, little man. Looks much better than when he first arrived.
These little ones are doing so well so far, and of course the time is getting close that we're going to soon have to take them over to introduce them to foster mums and decide which ones are going where, and which mums are going to be the most, or which enclosure is going to be the most suitable for each one of these little guys. And that becomes the hard part, especially for the carers, especially when you've been looking after some of these that arrived here a day old. They've developed so quickly, and relying on you for everything, and now you've got to sort of hand them over to somebody else to take them through to the foster mom. But that's all part of the program, and hopefully these guys are developing very quickly. Most of them are, and soon we'll be seeing them getting moms and going back out into the enclosure, back to be monkeys again. And of course that's the main objective of everything we do here. At this age, everything's kind of interesting, and it's funny to see sometimes what they pick up and find amusing, and how they try and handle it in different ways, just to see what's on one side or the other side. Sometimes just having a look through it and realizing, yes, they can see through this thing to the other side, can be quite remarkable. So it's just watching the development and having the opportunity to sit with each one of them and see how they're growing and changing, and these little personalities are slowly coming out of each one of them, is quite an experience. So something, if you ever get the opportunity to come and volunteer, this is really a special moment, is watching these little guys grow up. And of course, yeah, the same thing, finding the feeding cage, beginning to drink, although they're still battling, but getting there. And you watch this development as they get better and better, manage to climb into the little holes and out and find the bottle, and you just know it's going so well that one day they're going to get a mom, and you'll be able to sit there and sort of being proud of everything you've done as you watch this little guy go over to its foster mom, and she takes it back into nature again, and it can live as normal life as possible for these little ones.
Well done, Baba. Come, Baba. Come in. Come in. Good job. Look, look, look. Yeah, you got the milk. You're not hungry? No? And Boy's like, can I have some more?
Just that little face, so peaceful and content and happy, and in its own little world. You can see how relaxed it is. Even got like a little smile on the face. So yeah, it's really amazing. And just from what these guys have come from to what we're able to get them to a mom, really it's something that pulls at the heartstrings in the end of the day. It's not an easy job, it is very difficult, and I take my hats off to all our volunteers here that participate in it. It's a tough day, a hard time, and sometimes just as hard to let go of these little guys after you've been looking after them. But very, very rewarding, and everybody knows they're making a massive difference to these little ones' lives.
Here is Shallan. We didn't think that we were going to release her actually, but she's improved so much after all her electrocution burns, and she gets around great, that we're going to try and find her troop today. So nervous and excited all at the same time to see if they're there. Just driving round to the nearby country lodge across the road where the troop usually are.
Well, we sort of know where the troop from, and we've got little Shallan here also doing her part. She seems to recognize the area quite well, because this is where she would have been born and running around most of the time. So she's also looking out for everybody. You can see she recognizes what's going on. It's kind of difficult to find the troop, because even if we spot them, they sort of move away because they're scared of people, because they're close to human habitat and get chased quite often. So it's going to be tricky trying to get close to them.
Well, we see the monkeys in the far distance in the trees.
At the road.
No, by that time they'd be this side.
Ja, want altijd hierdie monkeys
They kom hier so.
Ja, kom hier so en hy kom daar, gaan eet daar by.
I wonder if we could also know what time.
He is there. Look there. They crossed the road already. They're looking at us there.
So we're just taking Shallan through the bushes. There's Ellie and Shallan's looking out because we've seen the monkeys in the woods here, in the bush. They're just walking down because we've seen them in the trees, but they're quite shy, which of course is good. So we can't find the monkeys anymore, they're kind of deep in the bush, but she did crossed the road at pretty much the exact time she was found in the exact location, but now of course trying to find the troop. They've disappeared into the bush. Here's a sign, it's actually got vervets on there. Apparently the guy's seen them up further again. It's quite a hike. Ellie, if you see the monkeys, then you can just let her go down here. There, they're there. There's a male. Okay, let's let her go just up here.
Unfortunately, they're too quick to catch on camera. They dive into the trees, but we've seen her whole troop running around here. There's quite a few members, so we're just trying to get close enough to get her to them to let her go.
They're running that way. Yep, there's a group of them. Okay, if you go just down there and let her go.
Well, it's always difficult to know when the exact right time is going to be. We're also right next to a very, very busy road, and we don't want Shallan running towards the road, unfortunately. So it is important that she follows where the troop's going, and because they're so scared of us, they're sort of running in the background there, so we can't get her close enough. And of course, yeah, we let her go onto a fence, but I'm quite amazed. Just look how well she managed to run across this fence with I mean, normally their tail helps them quite a lot with balance, and little Shallan's managed to go across here with no problems really at all. She's still having a look out to see where she can spot everybody. Not quite certain, just getting her bearings.
We might have to take a step back because she's calling for them. Let's go back. So she is climbing the fence line. Seems to be getting around okay. She's looking out for the troop and she is calling for them. So we just seen Shallan run off to 2 other monkeys.
Well, we've just seen her running across in the background there with 2 little juveniles. It's very, very hard to see. She's right at the back of this fence, running on the flat line, and then they're coming forward towards this big tree. So she's with another 2 little ones there. You can actually see the grass moving at the bottom here, so we can't actually get a picture. They're right at the bottom. There's like a gully at the bottom of this tree here, which they're running along. This is a beautiful big fig tree.
So there was Shallan and 2 other monkeys running down to the bottom of this fig tree. So she was with them. Unfortunately, it was too far to get on camera, but she was there with them. And there's this beautiful fig tree as well. They'll have lots of food on there. So she's got quite an area.
Well, that's it for episode 4 of season 6. You can see there's a lot going on all the time. And things are happening so quickly already. It's just like we've fallen out of season 5 straight into season 6 and already got our hands full. I'm not too sure of the count of little orphans we're up to now. I think it's already 7. So they are all starting to come in with their different little stories, and we'll try and get as much information so that we can follow all these little guys so that you can actually see what's happening. But thank you everybody for your support, for watching. Our numbers are climbing up nicely. Seeing that we got the little short clips as well that come out, seems to have drawn a lot more interest. So thank you for sharing. For those that are still supporting us via PayPal and via other means, thank you very much. It's one of the things, I can't tell you how much it's helped to get us through the last year. We're slowly starting to get volunteer numbers up again. Nothing like it used to be, but at least it's we're getting there. We are getting a bit of income. Things are looking a little bit better, and hopefully the future is going to be a lot better for these little guys if we get more volunteers, more supportive people to start us helping look after them and rectify the wrongs that basically humans have done. So these are all ones that have had problems or a conflict, human-animal conflict, and ended up in situations that they should never have been. So thank you for helping us get them back to where they belong. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one.